Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Talking TNA with Team Venom. I'm your host Rory Bailey, and in this episode I'm going to be going solo as I dig through the archives of Team Venom and pull out a wonderful interview with the last guy to properly make that very version of the title relevant, Moose. Now this is only from last year, and it was not that far away from the UK tour and such, which happened in November 2023. And yeah, it's just a good little interview, and we're going to go straight to it, so I hope you enjoy. Firstly, thank you for your time and presence. The last time Impact was in the UK was for the Impact versus UK Twitch show at WrestleMediaCon, which saw you team with Nathan Cruz against Eddie Edwards and Justin Sizem. You were personally responsible for one of the most memorable moments of the night, which my son still talks about. What can we expect from you? Oh, sorry.
What was that moment? Because I don't. What was the moment? Because I don't. I have bad memory.
Oh, okay, fair enough. It was you got all of the crowd to part, like you were going to do a suicide dive, and you started doing all the little hand movements to get all the guys to go over on one side and then on the other. So there's a whole area of the crowd that was just bare. And then just as you were about to pounce, you just flagged them off and then walked away.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. My son loved it. See, he still talks about it all the time to anyone when we're talking wrestling. But yeah, so what can we expect from you this October when Impact returns to the UK?
Hopefully to give you guys another memory that you guys can remember like that one. I'm excited. I think that speaks for all the guys on the roster. Excited to be back in the UK. A lot of us haven't been in the UK since pre-COVID, so we're all very, very excited to be back. So hopefully we could leave you guys happy and you guys with long memories that you could tell us about when we speak to you or tell your friends about or family. So that always puts a smile on our face.
Okay, well, you faced some of the biggest stars in wrestling today, guys like Cody Rhodes, LA Knight when he was Eli Drake, Bobby Lashley, obviously Eddie Edwards, and a whole slew of legends during your TNA Championship run. Is there anyone you haven't faced yet on the Impact roster or UK scene that you'd like to face on the upcoming tour?
Yeah, two names comes to mind. One of them is Frankie Kazarian. I've never done anything with him. I don't think I've been in the ring with him. Actually, I think we've been in the ring in the tag, but as partners, but nothing against each other. So that's one name that comes to mind. And the second one is Eric Young, which is surprising because me and Eric Young have been in the same company for a few years now, on and off, and we've never touched. So hopefully, those are two matchups that happens during the UK tour.
Yeah, I can remember during the pandemic era, there was a point where you had the TNA title, and Eric had the Impact title, and everyone was sort of assumed that you guys were going to collide then, and yeah, it just didn't happen for whatever reason. But that'd be awesome to see.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'm sure it'll happen soon.
Well, speaking of the pandemic and that era, obviously we're quite a while removed from the empty arena days of Impact, which saw Impact thrive with some of the best wrestling on TV at the time. You and the TNA title run were probably the best thing on wrestling TV during that period. How did that come about? Thanks. You're welcome. But how did that come about, and where does that run rank amongst your accomplishments?
I mean, honestly, I couldn't answer the question why it came around. It was an idea that was brought up to me, and I thought I loved it. It was because it was different. It was me carrying something that I actually didn't win. I just saw propped up somewhere. But it was at the time where we needed a world champion because of contract situations with who our champion was at the moment, and they gave me the story. I loved it and I ran with it. I did my best to make it entertaining, and I think it was a success.
Well, as well as that TNA title run, you've also been the Impact World Champion and the Impact Grand Champion a couple of times. And you've headlined several pay-per-views. What's been your biggest highlights of your time in Impact so far?
My biggest highlight, that's a question I don't like answering because if I tell you my biggest highlight, then it means that every other match I've had so far didn't mean much. So I
Ah,
think every time I step into the ring, that's a big highlight for me, and I'm extremely blessed and happy with who I'm given the opportunity to wrestle against, and that's going to be always be the answer going forward. My next match would be my best match and my most memorable match.
okay. Well, speaking of your next match is at Multiverse United 2 on at the weekend with where you're teaming with Eddie Edwards. I know you guys are on the same page at the moment, but we've seen some tremendous ups and downs between the two of you. What can we expect from that pairing?
I mean, Eddie's a guy that at one point was my best friend, so we know a lot about each other. We've tagged a lot. We actually tagged a lot when it was pretty much a tag team when we did a tour in New Japan, not New Japan, but Noah Pro Wrestling. So he knows what I have to offer. I know what he has to offer. So I'm sure we'll be able to put our differences aside for to get Team Impact a win. And we're facing two tremendous wrestlers, Zach Sabre Jr. and Shane Haste, and those guys are pretty skilled. Zach, especially Zach, who is known as being one of the best technical wrestlers and professional wrestlers. So I mean, I'm sure me and Eddie will be able to put whatever differences we have aside, if there even is still any differences, to get a win for Impact.
Thank you. Well, lastly, what goals have you got left in Impact Wrestling? Is there anything that you want to achieve there before before it's all said and done and whatnot?
Oh, I mean, there's so many things I want to achieve, and I'm just hitting I'm just scratching the surface. I mean, I want to be the guy who's won every championship that male could win in Impact Wrestling. I mean, I think there's only a few guys who've done that with Eric Young and maybe Eddie Edwards. I want to be the longest reigning champion, which is held by Josh. I want to have the most reigns as champion, which is held by, I want to say, either Jeff Jarrett or maybe Sting or Kurt Angle. One of those three guys is on the list. So yeah, I'm just scratching the surface of what of things to accomplish. So I want it all.